Have you ever felt frustrated, disconnected, or even empty after self-pleasure? Maybe you've noticed it doesn't feel the same as it did in your younger years. And for many men over 60, that change can feel like a quiet loss, like something has been taken away. Most men believe this is simply part of aging, that declining satisfaction is inevitable, that you just have to accept it, bury it, and move on. But what if I told you that's not the full truth? What if the way you've been approaching self-pleasure is actually part of the problem, and that with a few mindful changes, you could experience not only physical satisfaction, but emotional renewal as well? I'm Dr. James Carter, a specialist in male aging and sexual wellness, with over 25 years of experience helping men rediscover their energy, vitality, and confidence, especially after 60. What I've discovered, and what research is now confirming, is that there are simple, natural, and surprisingly powerful adjustments men can make in their approach to masturbation that can enhance pleasure, restore connection with their bodies, and even support long-term health. No prescriptions, no gimmicks, just a wiser, more respectful relationship with yourself. Imagine waking up feeling more relaxed and centered, noticing that your mind is clearer, feeling a deeper sense of connection to your body and your masculinity. And yes, feeling confident, not just in your sexuality, but in how you carry yourself every day. And this is possible, no matter your age, your background, or what you've been through. Even if you've struggled with shame, performance issues, or just a feeling of disconnection. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 simple but powerful corrections older men can make to reclaim pleasure, confidence, and emotional freedom. Stick with me until the end, because mistake number 5 is something almost no one talks about, but it could completely change how you experience intimacy with yourself. Before we dive in, if you're looking for more tips and guidance on living a strong, healthy, and fulfilling life after 60, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This way, you'll never miss an important insight designed just for you. And let me ask you, have you ever felt conflicted about this topic? Type yes in the comments if this resonates with your experience, or no if it doesn't. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Mistake 1. Believing in the semen retention myth. Many older men, especially those navigating life after 60, begin to believe in the widespread myth that abstaining from ejaculation can somehow restore their masculinity, boost testosterone, or enhance their life force. These beliefs often stem from outdated traditions, pseudo-scientific claims circulating online, or the desire to hold on to vitality in a season of life marked by change. But let's look at what science and experience really tell us. Prolonged periods without ejaculation can lead to very real physiological consequences: pelvic congestion, tension in the lower abdomen, increased irritability, mood instability, and even a higher risk of prostate complications. Your body was not designed to suppress its natural rhythms indefinitely. Just as sleep restores the brain and stretching restores mobility, ejaculation, when done mindfully and in balance, restores energetic, hormonal, and emotional harmony. Contrary to the myth, moderate, healthy ejaculation can support testosterone regulation, improve sleep, boost mood through dopamine and oxytocin release, and reduce anxiety. It also helps cleanse the prostate and maintain function in a way that aging men often overlook. Yet many men treat ejaculation like a resource to be hoarded, believing that every release costs them power. The truth is, withholding for too long often leads to physical stagnation, frustration, and a growing sense of disconnection from the body. Here's the reframing that matters. Ejaculation isn't indulgence, it's maintenance. Just like hydrating your body, stretching your limbs, or taking a deep breath. The key, however, is intention. Are you doing it out of stress, boredom, or habit? Or as an act of connection, balance, and respect for your body's needs? Men who integrate mindful self-pleasure into their lives often report a sense of grounding, improved sleep, clearer focus, and less irritability. It's not about frequency or performance. It's about rhythm and responsiveness. Begin by observing your internal signals, not just desire, but tension, restlessness, or emotional congestion. Release not for the sake of escape, but as a return to center. Give yourself permission to see ejaculation as a form of self-respect, not a loss of strength. It's not about proving control. It's about honoring flow. You deserve to feel alive, connected, and clear. And that starts by letting go of myths that were never meant to guide the wisdom of a seasoned man. Mistake 2. Using the same technique every time. Habit is comforting. Over decades, most men settle into a specific rhythm when it comes to self-pleasure. A favorite grip, a consistent pressure, the same position, the same goal. It's familiar, predictable, and seems to work. But under the surface, that sameness may be eroding your sensitivity, limiting your pleasure, and interfering with intimacy in subtle but serious ways. The nervous system is adaptive. When it's exposed to the same stimulus over and over, it begins to respond less intensely. What once brought strong sensation may now feel muted. What once took just a few moments may now require more effort and focus. This isn't just about aging, it's about conditioning. Many older men unknowingly train their bodies to respond only to a single, narrow range of stimulation. Over time, that conditioning becomes so strong that different forms of touch, especially those from a partner, feel less satisfying or even ineffective. This can lead to frustration, anxiety, or even questions about virility, when the truth is far simpler. Your body is capable of more, but it needs variety to wake it up. Here's the shift. Introduce diversity into your experience. Try switching hands, vary the pressure, change your position, slow down your rhythm, add movement. Even minor changes can interrupt years of patterning and awaken nerves that have been dulled by repetition. You might feel awkward at first. That's normal. Think of it like physical therapy. New motions activate muscles you haven't used in a while. In this case, those muscles are your neural pathways and sensory awareness. Exploring tools designed for comfort and variety, like textured sleeves or massagers, can also help reinvigorate your experience. Not because you need gadgets to feel pleasure, but because your body deserves stimulation that adapts to its changing needs. This isn't about novelty for the sake of it. It's about reconnecting to your full capacity for pleasure. You are not meant to live on autopilot. Not in your work, not in your relationships, and certainly not in how you relate to your own body. Rediscovering touch, experimenting with sensation, and allowing yourself permission to grow sexually as you age isn't indulgence. It's growth. And it's one of the simplest, most powerful ways to reclaim a sense of vitality that belongs to you, no matter your age. Mistake 3. Rushing through the experience. In youth, speed was often a necessity. Privacy was scarce, interruptions were constant, and self-pleasure had to be quick and discreet. For many men, this urgency turned into a habit, and habits have a way of embedding themselves deep into our routines, long after the circumstances that shaped them have disappeared. Now, in your 60s or 70s, you might find that the act still carries that same rushed energy. It's quick, it's mechanical, it's done without thought, just another task to complete. But here's what gets lost in that process: presence. When you rush, you bypass the buildup, the slow waves of arousal that prepare the body and awaken deeper sensations. You skip over the emotional richness, the physical subtleties, and the chance to reconnect with yourself in a meaningful way. Over time, this speed strips pleasure of its depth. You might feel disconnected afterward, flat, even slightly agitated. You finish, but you don't feel fulfilled. And it's not because your body is broken, it's because your approach hasn't evolved. Slowing down isn't just a romantic idea, it's a biological advantage. The nervous system needs time to activate fully. The parasympathetic system, the one responsible for relaxation and arousal, thrives in calm, attentive environments. When you rush, you activate the opposite system, fight or flight. You short-circuit your capacity for deeper pleasure. This is why slowing down changes everything. It allows your breath to deepen, your awareness to sharpen, your skin to awaken. You begin to feel again, not just touch, but emotion, curiosity, even gratitude. Try this. The next time you're alone, give yourself time. Set an intention before you begin, not a goal to release, but an invitation to explore. Touch yourself with curiosity, not command. Follow sensation instead of chasing climax. Let your body lead instead of your habit. And if it feels strange at first, that's okay. It means you're doing something new, something better. By slowing down, you reclaim the fullness of the moment. You make space for your body to speak to you in new ways, and for your heart to respond. And in that space, something profound begins to emerge. Pleasure not as a quick escape, but as nourishment. Not as relief, but as reconnection. The journey is no longer about the finish. It's about the return to yourself. Mistake 4. Ignoring the rest of the body. For many men, self-pleasure has become a narrowly focused act, centered almost exclusively on the genitals. It's what we were taught, explicitly or implicitly, that male sexuality begins and ends in one place. Touch becomes localized, sensation becomes repetitive, and over time the body's full potential for pleasure and connection becomes forgotten. But here's the truth your body's been trying to tell you. You are more than just one part. Your skin, your muscles, your breath, your energy, they all carry the potential for sensation, for intimacy, and for awakening. When you ignore your chest, your thighs, your lower abdomen, your neck, when you dismiss the hands, the hips, the feet, even the breath itself, you're not conserving pleasure, you're limiting it. Think of the body not as a set of disconnected zones, but as one integrated sensory system. When you awaken different parts, you don't just add new sources of stimulation, you create a richer, more immersive experience that deepens both arousal and emotional presence. Stimulation of areas like the perineum, the inner thighs, the lower belly, or even the back of your neck can dramatically increase your capacity to feel. These areas are dense with nerve endings and deeply tied to your parasympathetic system, the same one that regulates calm, connection, and emotional openness. When you expand your focus, you also expand your presence. Touch becomes an act of exploration, not just performance. So how do you shift this pattern? Start small. Before touching your genitals, take a few moments to awaken your skin. Use your palms or fingertips to gently explore your chest, abdomen, thighs. Close your eyes. Notice what responds. Notice where your attention naturally drifts. You don't need to follow a script. You just need to slow down enough to listen. Try adding temperature, warm or cool touch, a textured cloth, a gentle breath across the skin. These aren't tricks. They're ways of waking up areas that have been ignored for too long. And here's the gift. When the whole body is involved, climax becomes more than a release. It becomes an emotional and physical unfolding. You feel more. You carry that fullness with you into the rest of your day. And you begin to rewrite the story that pleasure belongs only to youth. Because pleasure, real pleasure, belongs to presence. And presence belongs to every age. Mistake 5. Carrying shame or guilt. Perhaps the most silent and corrosive mistake of all is not mechanical, but emotional. It's the weight of shame, the quiet presence of guilt, the subtle sense that what you're doing is wrong, dirty, something to rush through and forget. For many men over 60, these feelings weren't chosen. They were inherited, taught by culture, religion, or early experience. Internalized during a time when sexuality was secretive, judged, or punished. And even decades later, those scripts still play in the background. You may consciously believe masturbation is normal, even healthy, but still, Something lingers. A flicker of guilt after release. A need to clean up quickly, not just physically, but emotionally. A reluctance to speak about it, even to yourself. That shame, left unchallenged, builds walls. Walls between you and your body, between you and your peace. It can turn a moment of self-care into one of self-judgment. And over time, that emotional tension dulls sensation, suppresses pleasure, and chips away at confidence. You start to feel broken, when in truth, you've just been burdened by someone else's story. But here's the truth. There is nothing shameful about tending to your own body. There is nothing weak about wanting to feel. In fact, when done with care and presence, self-pleasure becomes an act of emotional healing, a form of mindfulness, a declaration that you are still here, still whole, still worthy of pleasure. Letting go of shame doesn't mean becoming reckless. It means becoming free. Free to listen to your body's signals without judgment. Free to take your time. Free to replace secrecy with presence. You don't have to announce anything to anyone, but you can begin by noticing the story you tell yourself in those quiet moments. Is it one of shame, or is it one of self-respect? Because your body listens. And when you shift that narrative, everything changes. You begin to reclaim more than just sensation. You reclaim trust, safety, groundedness. And in doing so, you rewrite not just your relationship with pleasure, but your relationship with yourself. Remember, none of these shifts require perfection. They're not radical or complex. They're about coming home to your body in a wiser, more respectful way. These corrections are natural, accessible, and entirely within your control. You don't need medications, external validation, or a younger version of yourself to feel good. You need presence, permission, and small, consistent steps. So where do you begin? Start with just one or two of these changes. Maybe it's slowing down. Maybe it's exploring other parts of your body. Maybe it's simply questioning the guilt you've been carrying for years. Let it be small. Let it be consistent. That's how real change takes root. You may not feel a profound shift overnight, but you'll start to notice small things. More calm, more connection, a deeper breath, a growing sense of confidence that doesn't depend on performance. These are the signs of something deeper healing inside you. You've spent decades being strong for others. Now it's time to be present for yourself. This isn't about going back. It's about going deeper. So if this message spoke to you, leave a yes in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend who might need to hear it. And remember, pleasure doesn't fade with age. It evolves. And you are still very much capable of receiving it, with dignity, with clarity, and with self-respect.